Hi, we're here at SHOT Show 2017 with Travis Riddell of Arbros Rifles. Travis, we really appreciate your support and sponsorship over the years and spending some time with our audience.
Yeah, no problem.
So, Travis, some of the big news that we saw recently were some updates to your existing product line, namely the competitor model. Tell us a little bit about that and kind of the thinking as to that shift in direction.
Sure. In the Facebook release of it, I mentioned, we've been shooting in the competitions for a little over a decade now. And when we first started shooting in the matches, it was mainly prone, bipod, you were on the ground for the most part.
Yeah.
Now it's shifted as the sport has progressed. We have virtually no prone stages anymore. So a chassis system made sense to go to, and we spent, for the last couple years, we've been trying to find something that we like, because I'm not really a chassis guy. They just don't fit me.
Yep.
And we started working with MPA earlier this year and kind of formed a partnership with them to build up a specific chassis for us that's inletted specifically for the Rogue Action. And so far it's been working out pretty well. We released it a couple weeks ago. There was more gone into it as far as we changed the balance of the gun with a different barrel contour. Still running 26-inch barrels on everything, but we changed the balance point so that when you are shooting positional off of a barricade, standing, sitting, kneeling stuff, it's a very neutral dead weight, we'll call it. When you pick the rifle up, you're like, oh, this is a 15-pound comp gun. And as soon as you shoulder the rifle, every single person that has picked it up has said, where'd the weight go? And it is dead solid. And it holds that same characteristic whether we're on a barricade, using the wedge blocks over round surfaces. The weight is just, it's balanced out correctly to where everything's dead, and recoil impulses are dead. Everything, balance on it really worked out. So it took a couple trial and errors, but I got the barrel contour where I wanted it to put the weight where it needed to go, and it's worked out well. And then the good news is, for the guys that have the standard stocks already, the Rogue Action, barreled action will just drop right into the new chassis if they want to go with a chassis system, so they can switch back and forth. If they want to shoot an F-class with their conventional stock, go shoot an F-class match. If you're going to a field match, shoot your conventional stock. If you're going to a square range match that has 2 prone positions in the whole match, drop it in the chassis.
Right.
I mean, the last time we interviewed you, you mentioned, hey, I'll build whatever a person wants, but if they leave it up to me, I'll recommend a particular configuration.
Sure.
So, I mean, is it fair to say now that your advice has changed a little bit from then?
Over the last couple years since we did that, it has, the merits of a chassis system and the attachments that you can put in a chassis system have kind of moved it to where that is a very viable option at that point. And Manners brought out a stock that you can add the same accessories in. I did add some additional features on our chassis to allow match directors such as Jesse and myself, when we put on a match, that we make it so you can't use barricade stops and everything else. Well, I was thinking of that when I designed the chassis, so I made easier ways to shoot those stages that guys like us come up with. So I think it'll be a good setup, plus the price point that we brought it out at of $3,600 with a full custom action, ready to go, full-blown comp gun is
very attractive.
Is pretty. It should help a lot of guys that were on the fence about, I don't want to spend $6,000 on a rifle. It should help the market out a little bit there.
Excellent.
But no, all in all, I mean, I'm still getting used to my own, but I'm very comfortable with it, and it feels pretty good at this point.
I'm curious to know, with the growth of the sport, are you seeing kind of a shift in your business more towards the competition side of things versus hunting?
Not really. We
Okay.
talk about this all the time. There's probably, I don't even want to guess how many millions of people the hunting market is versus the 500 people that are in the competition market.
Yeah.
It is growing. The PRS sports, in whatever organization you belong to, it is growing, but it'll always still be a small fraction of the
Relative-
overall
relative
market.
to
I mean,
hunting,
there's more hunters than there will ever be competition shooters. It's just the way it is.
Right.
But it's still, the competition side for us, it grows a little bit every year and just kind of stays stable. This last year we did see more growth in it, but the whole entire sport grew. But it will still, the hunting market is still primarily the bread and butter of the business for
Right.
sure.
Right, right.
It's just, you guys know me, I'm a competitor and, and I
Exactly.
like to shoot matches, and so that will always be near and dear to my heart, especially for as long as I've done it. But, and we use the competition side to kind of test and prove a lot of our hunting configurations and details that go into the hunting builds. So you're still getting, the same ultra precision accuracy. You're just doing it in a gun that weighs 5 or 6 pounds less.
So I mean, your V2, represents adaptation, right, to the changes in the competitive landscape. So, last time we talked a bit about cartridges and where they're going. Have you seen some different trends now around that?
It's still primarily, it still jumps back and forth between 6 and 6.5. Now, the 6s had this has been the last 5 or 6 months has been a fantastic year for 6mm guys. We had DTACs, the new 115 DTAC, the new Sierra 110. We're at 140 6.5 BCs now, or even slightly above, depending on what you're doing with the bullet. So it's been a good year for the 6mm guys. The 6.5 always had the advantage of more barrel life. We're finding with a lot of these new powders that you can get really close with a 6mm and do it with a flatter shooting rifle with less recoil and get damn near the same barrel life. So it's a very good time that we're in right now with all of the new components and technologies coming out, because the new powders have advanced what cartridges can do, and these little guys are now becoming pretty substantial performing cartridges that wasn't possible 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I may need to consult with you on my 6XC.
Yes, there's some, and there's been, like I said, we've been testing a couple powders for the last year and a half, and barrel life we're getting double the barrel life that we were before, and more performance, which never goes hand in hand, but I mean, we've gone through 2 or 3 barrels now with almost identically the same results.
So before you release those powder names, if it's not 4350, please allow me to sell my horde.
It's not 4350.
Now, before we got on camera, you'd also mentioned there's some updates on your hunter line.
Yep. We did last year, about this time last year, we brought out our lightweight hunter. And what I was trying to do was, I wanted all the strength of the conventional steel Rogue Action. I just wanted it lighter, because the trend in the hunting world is going, we want lighter. It's moving towards, hunting is becoming a fitness sport now. And everything needs to be lighter. So ounces are beginning to really take account for things. So I worked with the guys over at Defiance to build the Action. We scaled everything back on the receiver, made some cuts, changed the bolt a little bit, changed a couple other little items, and we got down to about within 2 ounces of titanium, but we still have all of the strength, the extended tenon, you know, everything that I still wanted.
Right.
And last year, we were just using conventional tally one-piece rings on it. For this year, we actually have a company building 20 MOA one-piece rings and bases, weighs 2 ounces. The whole entire rifle with, let's see, I just weighed one for a guy when I left, with a 5.5 to 22 Night Force on it, is 8.8 pounds.
Oh, that's a really light rifle. Yeah.
And that's a 26-inch barreled rifle with brake, everything.
Wow.
So the other one, we've been working on a carbon barreled rifle too, and testing the barrels, and it's still, I'm 98% sure that it will be ready to go for this show that's coming up, and I'll be happy with it. But I want to continue testing it, and I don't want to come out and then have issues with it later. Right. So, but if it works out, you're dealing with a similar weight package, larger barrel. We can use a more effective muzzle brake. You know.
And the Streamline Action you talk about, is that an exclusive through you, or?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It is only, the way we designed it, it is only for a Rogue Action.
And what should folks ask for specifically if they're interested in that?
It's the lightweight Action. We'll have a lot of this up on the website here pretty soon. The differences in the receivers, the exact weights,
Okay.
the new competition gun,
Okay.
the new carbon rifle, as long as the testing goes well. And we'll have all that up there, but it is the lightweight Action. It still says Rogue on there. There's no different nomenclature or anything else. We
Okay.
it was originally just for the lightweight hunter, just for that setup. And then recently we've been kind of doing some hybrid stuff of, you know, using a little larger barrel with that lighter Action, bringing things down. Because what a lot of people don't understand is if you take, let's say you use a conventional Action Picatinny rail, even aluminum Picatinny rail, and a set of Night Force ultralight rings. That setup weighs almost 0.8 pounds. When you're trying to shave ounces,
Yep.
when a one-piece ring and base that gives you the same 20 MOA cant is pinned to the receiver, can't go anywhere, is only 2 or 3 ounces.
Yeah, that's
We just saved a half a pound off that gun.
right. No, that's significant.
And the net result is still the same. You still have 20 MOA. You've still got a bubble level on the cap. You know, you're still in good shape. So we're hoping that configuration was, the lightweight hunter configuration was very successful in 2016. With the new additions to the mount ring setup, I think 2017 will just be that much better with it. We just keep kind of refining it a little
Right.
bit as we
Yeah.
go.
Excellent.
So.
I mean, you alluded to your experimentation, you know, around powders, and so I know, you know, bullets factor into that equation.
Yep.
I mean, Nosler RDFs, right? You know, a lot of talk around that. I mean, what else are you seeing? What are some of the things that folks should be looking at from a bullet perspective?
The RDFs, I haven't messed with them a lot. I've just started playing with them. I've shot, I don't know, 700 or 800 of the 110 6mm Sierras. They're a long bullet, and guys may run into some issues with being able to mag feed them.
Okay.
The good news is that they shoot well jumped, but they are a pretty long bullet, and the shape of them are so sleek. If you guys haven't seen them, go look at them. The shape is very sleek, to where let's say a 105 hybrid is 2.85 overall length, that 110, the bullet itself may only be 25 or 30 thousandths longer, but your overall length may be 80 or 90 thousandths longer, just because of the shape of that bullet. It is a sleek bullet. It always amazes me that the DTACs, I swear they're the most underrated bullet on the market. They shoot incredibly well. They used to have a little bit of consistency problems. Those with this new version have pretty well gone away. We've shot a lot of them.
Give me a lot to think about in terms of trying some new things out that I haven't tried before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The new 6.5 RDF, there's some loaded up at home in the bench to go try when I get home. So there are some, it seems that the bullet manufacturers have really, a few of them in particular have really taken off.
Right.
You know, Hornady, Sierra, Nosler, they all invested quite a bit in their operations, and they're bringing out, I'm not going to say mission specific, but more stuff geared towards, it seems like the tactical competition market lately.
Okay.
They seem to really be hitting that hard. You know, Hornady's got some fantastic new bullets out. Unfortunately, that 167 isn't going to fare very well in your 6.5 47, but
right.
you know, they do have there's some good bullets out there. So their advancements keep coming, and like I said, we're pretty fortunate at this point.
Well, we certainly appreciate your insight, Travis. Ed and I want to thank you for your support and all that you do. Thanks for stopping by and giving us the update.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me in, and appreciate it. As always, it's a pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully, folks, you found that useful. As always, life's an adventure.
Stay on target.